Okay, this video is completely and fully about me. It's about me, okay? Let's go. If you want, that is. Okay, this is probably going to be my next release. It's a song I recently wrote. It's called Love Left in Me, and I'm recording this bedroom guitarist version of it on November 26th, 2022, which also happens to be my birthday. Okay, black bars on. Let's go. The loading in stuff. Okay, today is, as I said it before, it's a day of reflection for me. You know, people like to celebrate their birthdays, they like to party, they like to invite their friends and just hang out and have fun, all of that. I was never a fan of those things. Instead, I've always taken the time to reflect and to talk to myself, as always, and to ask myself a couple questions and to really take a look at the path that I've taken since the last time I've had this conversation with myself, to see where I am now, where I was a year ago today, and where I intend to be, where I envision the path to change to in 365 or 6, I don't know which is, if this year's a leap year days. And what makes this year special is because the past 33 or 32 well, not 33 times, but for the past however many years I can remember, I was back in the old country. I was back home, and so the conversations were very different in their size, in their scope, in their actuality. Now this year it's a little different, since I remember the first time I asked myself where I see myself in 5 years, 6 or 7 years. It was never like this. The answer was never, I want to be living in a different country, because I'd given up. I'd given up of ever doing something like this, since I explained it in great details why every time I try to do this thing, like leaving that country and trying to live in a different one, it never happened. Every time I got one step closer to anything, I got pushed back 10. So I wanted to do some shopping done, and it was not possible. There were so many people there, and the escalators they broke down, so you had to either wait for a very big line to get in the elevators, or to just use the manual stairs. And what I needed to do is on the 3rd floor. I just realized, you know what, that's not happening. I have more important things to do today. So I have one more stop, and then we're gonna reflect together. See, the place I'm stopping by is there. This big church, and it has a very specific reason. I hope I can get in without a problem. Yeah, that place. Probably the coolest church I have ever seen in my entire life, and I've seen plenty. Actually, plenty. Look, those drawings. They probably are a few hundred years old. Okay, I wanted to reflect here. I really hope that it's okay. the audio is fine because I don't want to scream. And I'm sitting pretty close to the microphones. And technically speaking, it's a church, so the acoustics should allow us for a little bit of a one-on-one, you know? Since this morning, since I woke up, I've been thinking a lot about where I was last year today, what my ambitions were, and what I wanted to do, and where I am now. And it's a very rare occurrence in your life that you feel like you belong. And for probably the second time in my entire life, this time with a big difference, I feel like I belong where I am. And it is insane to think about the path that I've taken until here. And it's unbelievably miraculous to even think about what I've done, what I've had the privilege really of doing, because not a lot of people are as lucky as I am right now specifically. And while I cannot do anything for anyone, specifically any individuals back home, I just hope and pray and wish that everybody's doing fine. I know I said this video was about me, and it's gonna get about me in a second, but this was something I needed to get off my chest. And I thought to myself, what better way to do it, or which better place to do it in other than this nice church, St. Pierre the Young. It's a very interesting place, this place. It immediately fills you with serenity, calm. And I needed a couple minutes for myself here. I don't know if I can go to the other room. It's a really cool room, but there are people there, so I don't want to disrupt them. I think they're visitors or tourists and the sort, but still they're doing something. I don't think me talking about myself to a camera here is gonna help with their experience. So maybe I should just head out. When I was 18 or 19, I began writing my first music album, and I was able to publish it in a couple years after it, and it was one of the greatest feelings on earth to have a mark of you, to have something that's left on earth by you when you're long gone. See, something that people could remember you by. And this idea, this notion that I don't want to leave this world unmarked or unscarred. Is the camera crazy? Hold on. Better? Worse? I don't know. This idea of doing things that could be permanent, really, it stayed with me. It was really nice. And I wanted to replicate this feeling. I wanted to leave more marks, as it were, on Earth. And that's exactly what I did. A couple years later, I started working on what would be my second album. But sadly, it took way longer than what I was happy for it to come out. And I think it came out, I'm gonna say 5-6 years later, which was not ideal. So I told myself, the next time I do this, it needs to be perfect. You know, third time the charm and all that. And I did not start writing anything until I was sure I'm able to finish it in time, my time frame, and get it out. and the inspirations began, I told you this, that right now is the second time that I'm feeling where I belong. I feel like this is somewhere that I can relax. I can be quiet, and the world can be quiet with me, which is cool. The first time was when I was working on my third album, and incidentally, it was when I was in France, when I was living in France for a little while. And when I finished that album, which was my third album, I decided to publish it through the old country's legal system, which was a giant mistake, and that created a lot of problems for me. But hold on, look at all these cool autumn leaves on the ground. Interesting. Where was I? Oh, the thing with the legal system. So I have a bunch of videos about this. I don't want to repeat myself, but just to give you a TLDR, I was able to get the rights to publish the album, because in the old country you have to go through a labyrinth of lies and problems to get the legal rights to do things like this. Everything needs to go through the legal process. And halfway through the publication, halfway by the time that I thought, hey, this is a good time to, things are ready, let's publish this thing, I was announced an outlaw in my country as a musician who was trying to impose foreign and alien culture. They interrogated me, they asked me for explanations, for it's a whole other thing I never want to talk about really. But it broke me so bad that after a while, this was probably 5-6 years ago, I felt like I felt very weak physically, physically weak. Mentally I was demolished, but physically I felt very weak. I felt like I couldn't even take walks anymore. I was not able to go on my favorite activities in the morning, which was running crazy. And it took me a long time, an actual long time, to realize, hey, this is depression. This is not normal. You're not normal. You need to do something about this. The problem also at the time was that for some really strange reason, it never rained. It always poured. It was insanely difficult for me to take to really understand the number of bad things that were happening to me at the same time. And it broke me to a point that I just said, you know what, I'm not going to engage with any kind of real life and social activity kind of a deal anymore. And I thought to myself, but you still have the book. You wanted to publish your book. It's so uncool to leave things unfinished, you know? So I pushed myself with probably the last parts of my spirit, and I pushed hard, and we got the book out. And it was a really, really good time working on the book and finishing everything about it. I got to travel to France again. I got to be a writer, be an author for a week. It felt unreal. And when I got back home, for what I thought would be the last time, that was it. That was the last straw. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the short one. That was it. I never thought I would find the motivation, the energy, anything to do anything ever again. You see, the problem with depression is you don't really understand it. Or let me explain it this way. You can't understand your getting ill until you're super ill. It's not like a cold where you start sneezing or you got like a runny nose or you start trembling and then you're like, okay, I'm getting sick, I need to take care of myself. Depression hits you hard. And I don't want this video to, I don't mean this video to be sad or anything. I'm just telling you that my side of things was that it was so brutal, I really couldn't concentrate. So just let days run by. Days turned to weeks, weeks turned to months, months turned to years, and suddenly I felt very old, and I mean it in the most literal sense of things. I had zero energy, and it was by a miracle that I was able to leave and I was able to move here, start over. And I always thought to myself, hey, your first birthday in France should be pretty special. It is special, but I don't mean fireworks kind of special. And that is enough for me. That really is enough for me. And now I'm working on my master's degree on languages and teaching, my big passion. I'm working on a new show where I finally get to play my new songs for people. I'm working on an album. I want to work on a second book, and I feel energized so much. Last year on my birthday, I slept for 24 hours because I couldn't really think of looking at my phone. Not that many people would, celebrate it with me, but I still friends and family. And this year I actually went out. I went to a church. I reflected on things. I played a song. Feels so good, Anyway, I probably am going to, the music that you're hearing right now, the new song. I'm gonna probably post a second video, maybe tomorrow, with just the song portion of this video. It's gonna be low quality. It's just me on my bed playing my guitar. I don't think it's even perfectly tuned. I think it's okay. But I like that song because it's a new song. It's a new thing. It's a new song. Anyway, thank you for watching, if you still are. And the next video should be about preparations for the show, maybe even the show itself. Wow. This is gonna be a good week. I feel it. Take care. Stay safe. Stay sane. Some days most days should be about others. Really, you should always be trying to help others. This day is about me. I wanted to give this day to myself. Stay safe, stay sane. See you very soon. Peace.